The glass door of the Silver Spoon Diner chimed like a cheap alarm clock at 9 p.m. and every head in the place swiveled toward the sound. A man in a charcoal Tom Ford suit stepped inside as if the linoleum were red carpet. Behind him, two bodyguards in identical black windbreakers loomed like bookends. The man's cologne arrived before he did, oud and money. He scanned the room the way a lion surveys a watering hole, then barked, "Table for one. Best you've got." Maria, wiping down booth 6 with a rag that had seen better decades, didn't look up. "Sit anywhere the vinyl isn't cracked, sir." Menus on the table. The billionaire, Victor Langford, tech mogul, 3 commas in every headline, snorted. "I don't wait. I don't sit on cracked vinyl. And I certainly don't eat off menus printed on printer paper." He flicked the laminated sheet with a manicured finger. "Bring me the chef. Now." The cook, a tattooed ex-marine named Rico, poked his head through the pass-through. "Chef's off tonight. I flip, I fry, I don't bow." Victor's laugh ricocheted off the pie case. "Perfect. A comedy club with grease. Fine. Eggs Benedict, hollandaise on the side, caviar instead of Canadian bacon. And coffee, Ethiopian single origin, pour over, 92 degrees Celsius. Go." Maria finally met his eyes. "We've got scrambled, fried, or poached. Hollandaise comes out of a packet. Caviar's whatever's swimming in the creek out back. Coffee's whatever's left in the bun. Take it or leave." Victor's smile thinned to a blade. "Do you know who I am?" "Someone who's about to miss last call for common sense," Maria said, voice low, steady, the way you talk to a spooked horse. Behind her, in the corner booth beneath the flickering Budweiser sign, a boy of maybe 10 looked up from his sketchpad. His hearing aids glinted under the neon, tiny cobalt shells tucked behind each ear. He tapped the table twice. Maria turned, read his lips without thinking, "Mom, he's loud." She signed back, quick flicks of her fingers, "I know, Mijo. Eat your pancakes." Victor caught the motion. His gaze slid to the boy, then to Maria's hands. "What's this? Charades hour?" He raised his voice the way people do when they think volume equals comprehension. "Hey, kid. Can you hear me?" He cupped a hand to his ear theatrically. "Hello? Anybody home?" The diner went mausoleum quiet. A trucker in Carhartt stopped chewing. The waitress on break, Jen, froze with a coffee pot mid-pour. Maria's rag stilled on the formica. The boy, Eli, tilted his head, puzzled. He signed again, slower. "Why is he yelling?" Maria's answer was a single sign, arrogant. Victor clapped once, delighted. "Talk to my deaf son," he mocked, pitching his voice into a nasal falsetto. "Oh, wait, he can't. Priceless." He pulled out his phone, thumb hovering. "This is going viral. Waitress and her broken kid ruin billionaire's midnight snack. #compassion." Something in Maria's shoulders changed, like a dam deciding whether to hold. She set the rag down, walked the 4 steps to Victor's table, and placed both palms flat on the surface. Leaned in until the oud cologne mixed with diner grease. "Say it again," she whispered. Victor smirked. "What, that your?" She cut him off, voice suddenly amplified, clear as cathedral bells. "Say it to his face. Not mine. His." Victor opened his mouth, closed it. The bodyguards shifted, unsure whether this counted as a threat. Maria straightened, turned to Eli, and signed with deliberate grace, "Come here, love." Eli slid from the booth, sketchpad under one arm. His sneakers squeaked. He stopped a foot from Victor, looked up, and waited. Victor cleared his throat. "Look, kid, I." Eli lifted the sketchpad, flipped to a fresh page, and began to draw. The charcoal flew, bold, economical lines. In 30 seconds, Victor's face stared back from the paper, the sneer, the raised eyebrow, the phone. But the eyes were hollow, cartoon XS. Beneath it, in block letters, "Scared man yells at children." Victor's cheeks colored. That's not. Eli tore the page free, held it out. Victor took it automatically. The boy signed, and Maria translated without looking away from the billionaire. He says you're afraid of what you can't control. Like sound. Like silence. Like a kid who doesn't need your voice to see you. Victor stared at the drawing. The diner's ancient clock ticked like a heartbeat. Somewhere, bacon popped in a pan. Maria spoke again, softer now. My son lost his hearing at 3. Meningitis. Doctors said he'd never speak, never read, never amount to much. I was 19, flipping burgers at a truck stop, pregnant with hope and nothing else. Every night I learned a new sign so he'd have a language before breakfast. Every paycheck went to therapy, to schools that cost more than rent. I carried him on my hip through night classes, through evictions, through the night he cried because the world went mute and I couldn't fix it. She reached out, brushed a curl from Eli's forehead. But he fixed me. Taught me that listening isn't about ears. It's about showing up. Victor's phone buzzed, probably his driver, probably a boardroom in Singapore, but he didn't answer. The sketch trembled in his hand. Maria continued, you walked in here thinking money buys silence. It doesn't. It buys private jets, not peace. You mocked my son because his world is quieter than yours. But his world is full. He hears colors. He hears heartbeats in pencil strokes. What do you hear, Mr. Langford, when the stock ticker stops? The question hung like smoke. Victor looked at Eli, really looked. The boy's eyes were the color of river stones after rain, clear, unblinking. He signed again. Maria's voice cracked as she translated. He says you have sad hands. They hold phones, not people. Victor glanced at his manicured fingers, the sketch crumpling slightly. One of the bodyguards cleared his throat, the other stared at his shoes. Jen, the other waitress, finally spoke. Maria, order up. But her voice was thick, like she'd been crying into the coffee. Maria didn't move. One more thing, she told Victor. Apologize. Not to me. To him. And mean it. Victor opened his mouth, maybe to refuse, maybe to call security, but Eli did something no one expected. He stepped forward, took Victor's free hand, and placed it over his own heart. Then he placed Victor's other hand over the billionaire's own chest. A bridge of pulse beats. Victor's breath hitched. The diner's fluorescent lights buzzed. Somewhere, a baby cried in the parking lot, then quieted. Eli signed. Maria whispered the words like a prayer, same rhythm. Same scared. Same brave. Victor's knees buckled, not dramatically, just enough that he sat hard in the booth. The vinyl sighed. He looked at the sketch again, then at Eli. His voice, when it came, was stripped of bravado, raw as a stripped wire. I'm sorry. He faced the boy.